Welcome to Mystic Realms Recap. Please like, share, and subscribe. Enjoy today's episode.
My good lord. 50 yellow gold tier mist cores? Zhou Zhou clicked his tongue. After this period of development, Zhou Zhou roughly understood why some fog monsters dropped different amounts of mist cores. The reason was simple. Their strengths were different. Among monsters of the same level, the stronger the fog monster, the more mist cores would be condensed in its body. The withered demon tree lord in front of him could actually condense 50 yellow gold tier mist cores. It could be said to be the number one fog monster Zhou Zhou had ever seen. From this, it could be seen how strong the other party was. It's a pity you ran into us. Zhou Zhou shook his head. This withered demon tree lord was strong. However, his pet was the lava dragon of the dragon race. No matter how strong the lord of the withered demon tree was, in the face of the suppression of race and bloodline, coupled with the fact that fire countered wood, it had no chance of winning at all. Unless the wood-type enemy underwent a qualitative change, how could it defeat the fire-type Nazario? Nazario, take care of it. Be careful to leave their corpses behind. Don't burn them all. Leave a few withered trees. I want to nurture them with the monster ranches, Zhou Zhou said. While he did not know what their drops were for, it was rare to encounter a fog monster that could drop different types of loots. Zhou Zhou had a premonition that their loots should be worth raising in the monster ranch. Nazario nodded slightly and spread his dragon wings to fly into the sky. It flew into the sky and looked down at the sea of trees created by the lord of the withered demon tree. Then, it suddenly had an idea. Lava dragon race talent skill. All things burn. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Fire emerged on the bodies of all the withered trees where its dragon eyes were looking. They were originally connected to each other. Now that they were burning, they were on fire spread from the other withered trees before they could even pull the roots out of the ground. 1 to 10, 10 to 100, 100 to 1, 0, 0, 0. Over the years, the withered tree demon lord had created more than 10,000 withered tree subjects. In the blink of an eye, they all fell into a sea of flames. Seeing this, the lord of the withered demon tree, Wu Li, immediately controlled himself and the other withered trees to dig out some spherical fruits that were crystal clear like golden jade from the soil at the roots. Then, he decisively smashed them into the sea of fire. The fruit thrown into the sea of fire immediately emitted a pale golden light. The burning of the sea of fire suddenly weakened. But soon, it counterattacked with an even stronger fire. Nazario sneezed disdainfully. Even though it did not know what the fruit was, it could sense that the fruit contained a strong vitality. That vitality could save trees and extinguish some ordinary flames and low-level energy flames. However, how could the flames summoned be comparable to ordinary and low-level energy flames as a lava dragon? Even if it was the enemy's life force, it could be used as the fire fuel for all things burn. On the other side, the lord of the withered demon tree could not help but panic when it saw that its methods were useless. Why was this different from what it had imagined? It never expected that originally, it had tied all the subjects together to create an iron bucket formation that enemies could not enter so that it could protect its main body. Now, this life-saving method has become the cause of its death. Ah! Ayaya! Creak, creak, crackle. The screams of the withered tree and the sound of the tree burning and breaking continuously sounded. At the same time, in the distance, kill notifications kept appearing in front of Zhou Zhou. Your pet lava dragon, Nazario, has killed a black iron tier advanced grade withered tree. Promotion energy plus 80. Loots condensed. Blessing of the war god. Your pet Nazario has received an additional 320 promotion energy points. Your pet lava dragon, Nazario, has killed a white silver tier intermediate grade elite withered tree. Promotion energy plus 400. Loots condensed. Blessing of the war god. Your pet Nazario has received an additional 1,600 promotion energy. Your pet lava dragon, Nazario, has killed a yellow gold tier intermediate withered tree boss. Promotion energy plus 4,000. Loots condensed. Blessing of the war god. Your pet Nazario has received an additional 16,000 promotion energy. A moment later, your pet lava dragon, Nazario, has killed a yellow gold tier advanced grade withered tree demon lord. Wooly, promotion energy plus 8,000. Loots condensed. Blessing of the war god. Your pet Nazario has received an additional 32,000 promotion energy. Prompt. Mission. Hope and counterattack. White platinum tier elementary grade has been completed. 10 white platinum tier mist cores have been distributed. 136 subjects of Deadwood Village have pledged their loyalty to you. All loyalty has reached 95 points. Behind the battlefield, Zhou Zhou nodded in satisfaction when he saw the notification that the mission had been completed. How long has it been? Beside him, Bai Yun, who had been stunned for a long time, came back to her senses and muttered to herself. About 4 to 5 minutes. Wu Xian was also a little speechless. There were more than 10,000 withered trees. They were all killed in 5 to 6 minutes. Who would believe this? Then, the two of them did not say anything else. They led the soldiers to clean up the battlefield and used the conqueror's blast furnaces to retrieve the loots. After Nazario took away the heat from all the monster corpses, it brought the corpse of the withered tree demon lord to Zhou Zhou. Then, it transmitted a feeling of refreshed and enjoyment to Zhou Zhou. Zhou Zhou immediately understood what it meant. It was refreshed because this was the first time Nazario had eliminated so many fog monsters in such a short period of time. Nazario was happy because after destroying so many fog monsters alone, it realized that it was not far from the yellow gold tier intermediate grade. Zhou Zhou smiled and nodded. He also promised the other party that he would give it more chances to enjoy the monster EXP alone in the future. High-end combat power was becoming more and more important in the Lord battlefield now. It was time to focus on nurturing Nazario. Then, he tried to touch the charred body of the withered tree demon lord. After confirming that it was not hot, he no longer hesitated and chose to extract it. Lord Talent Notification. Your loots have been enhanced by the King of Loots, Perfect Loots. Grade +1. Lord Talent Notification. You have obtained Perfect Loots, 50 mist cores, white platinum tier, 5 origin crystals, 1,000 kilograms of jade sun tree seeds, white platinum tier advanced grade, 1 tree core gem, white platinum tier advanced grade, 1 plant vitality potion, white platinum tier advanced grade, 1 vitality absorption skill book, white platinum tier advanced grade, 1 plant domain, white platinum tier advanced grade, 1 alchemy pharmacist recruitment book, white platinum tier, advanced grade, 9 Lord Talent Crystal Fragments, green bronze tier advanced grade. Zhou Zhou began to inspect the loots. Zhou Zhou looked at the items other than the white platinum tier mist cores, origin crystals, and green bronze tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments. The first was the Jade Sun Tree Seed. Specialty name, Jade Sun Tree Seed. Specialty level, white platinum tier advanced grade. Specialty effect 1. It can produce a fruit rich in life element called the Jade Sun Fruit. It can be eaten directly to replenish one's vitality, restore injuries caused by white platinum tier and below. It can also be used to make white platinum tier potions related to life. Specialty effect 2. The Jade Sun Tree is one of the exclusive specialties of the desert area. It can act as windbreaker and also sand fixation, improve, or even reverse the desert soil and environment. At the same time, the Jade Sun fruit it produces has a higher economic value. Specialty description. A special fruit tree in the desert, the true form of the withered tree. It can absorb the sunlight and convert it into life elements to condense fruits rich in life elements. It can also improve or even reverse the ecological environment of the desert. Specialty? When Zhou Zhou saw it, he vaguely felt that it looked familiar. Soon, he remembered. When he was diving in the World Channel in the past, he had heard some lords say that his lord talent was a specialty-related lord talent. This specialty talent included a series of specialties such as food, mineral, biological, and so on. There were also high and low grades. Higher grade ones such as extraordinary tier lord talent, supernatural power crystal mine. When mining ores in the territory, there was a chance to mine Esper ability crystals. Life forms that use the Esper ability crystals had a chance to awaken Esper abilities of extraordinary tier and below. Lower grade ones could be Black Iron tier Lord Talent, Black Cherry. It was a very sweet fruit specialty. Other than being delicious, it had no other abilities. These specialties all had an obvious characteristic. That was the uniqueness of resources. If the resource was only found in this place or a few places, it would be called a specialty. Specialties can actually drop from monsters? How is this different from picking up a Lord Talent for free? Zhou Zhou was pleasantly surprised. In his opinion, if he could completely develop this Jade Sunfruit's potential, it should not be inferior to a yellow gold tier Lord Talent. Zhou Zhou was confident that he could fully develop its potential because he had the Monster Ranch. As long as he placed the withered tree in the Monster Ranch to nurture it, then a large number of Jade Sun Tree seeds would be produced in his territory every day. At that time, he could completely nurture them in large quantities. Moreover, since it could survive in the desert, it would definitely be very easy to survive. He did not have to worry about it dying. In addition, its windbreaker and sand fixation effect was also very useful to Blazing Sun City. As long as he nurtured a large number of these Jade Sun fruits near the Blazing Sun Desert, or he could nurture it in Linger's Divine Herb Garden and transplant it to the Blazing Sun Desert. One day in the future, the Blazing Sun Desert might become an oasis. Then, Zhou Zhou checked the number of seeds of the 1,000 kilograms Jade Sun Tree. He realized that there were about 40 to 50 in every kilogram of tree seeds. 1,000 kilograms meant 40,000 to 50,000 white, platinum tier advanced grade Jade Sun Tree seeds. Zhou Zhou was quite satisfied. The production was also high. It seemed that it was not a dream to turn the Blazing Sun Desert into an oasis in the future. Then, he looked at the tree core gem. Treasure name, tree core gem, treasure grade, white platinum tier advanced grade. Treasure effect. After embedding in white platinum tier and below equipment, the level requirement for the equipment is -1. Treasure description. An extremely rare treasure that can lower the level requirement of equipment. It is sought after by countless powerhouses. Prompt. Each piece of equipment can be embedded with up to 3 gems that reduce the level requirement. Zhou Zhou's eyes widened. There was only one thought left in his mind. This withered tree race was really full of treasures. This tree core gem was the treasure he needed the most. He often obtained some high-level equipment as he often conquered high-level Scarlet Lords. These equipment were too high-level for him to use. In the end, they could only be placed in his spatial ring or the territory warehouse. He could use it after his level reached the usage requirement. Now that he had this tree core gem, he could lower the usage requirements of high-level equipment and use them himself. Moreover, after he placed the withered tree in the Monster Ranch, this tree core gem could also become a product of his Monster Ranch. This way, his territory could obtain a large number of tree core gems every day. This way, not only could he use high-level equipment that lowered the usage requirements in the future, Bai Yun, Wu Xian, the soldiers, and even the subjects could use them all. This would greatly increase the strength of his territory. The more Zhou Zhou thought about it, the brighter his eyes became. The more he thought about it, the more he felt that this withered tree was an excellent protection plant. Then, he looked at the next loots. Potion name, Plant Vitality Potion. Potion grade, White Platinum Tier Advanced Grade. Potion effect 1, Restoration of some vitality to plants below the White Platinum Tier. Potion effect 2, Replenish the vitality of the plants and reduce the growth time of White Platinum Tier plants by 10%. Reduce the growth time of Yellow Gold Tier plants by 20%. Reduce the growth time of White Silver Tier plants by 30%. Reduce the growth time of Green Bronze Tier plants by 40%. Reduce the growth time of Black Iron Tier plants by 50%. Potion description. A magical potion that can accelerate the growth of plants. Zhou Zhou raised his eyebrows. The effect of this potion was similar to that of the Divine Herb Garden. I can let Linger use it. This way, her Divine Herb Garden's efficiency in nurturing medicinal herbs can increase again. He thought. Then, he looked at the remaining 2 skill books. Skill name, Vitality Absorption. Skill quality, White Platinum Tier Advanced Grade. Skill description. Absorb the vitality contained in the ground and transform it into your own vitality. It can restore your injuries below the white platinum tier. Skill name. Plant domain. Skill quality. White platinum tier advanced grade. Skill description. Spread your mental strength into the surrounding plants. You can silently control plants below the white platinum tier and white platinum tier, making them your ears. You can even give plants life to activate them and let them fight for you. This plant domain and vitality absorption can be used together. Zhou Zhou took a look and immediately thought of how to use the two. Unfortunately, these two skills were too high level for him to learn. If only there were treasures that lower the requirements for learning skills. Zhou Zhou could not help but think. He felt that there might be such a treasure on the high continent. Since there were already treasures like the tree core gem that lowered the usage requirements of equipment, it would not be strange for treasures to appear that reduced the level for learning skills. As for the last white platinum tier advanced grade alchemy pharmacist recruitment book, he could only use it when he returned to the back territory. My lord, we found the lord's residence of the lord of the withered demon tree. Bai Yun walked over and said respectfully, "Take me there." Zhou Zhou put away the loots. "Yes, my lord." Bai Yun nodded respectfully. Then, she brought Zhou Zhou to the lord's residence. Beside a cave, Zhou Zhou and Bai Yi stood there. At first, we didn't find the lord's residence on the ground. Later, we used the sand trap technique a few times under the roots of the withered demon tree lord before we found the lord's residence hidden underground. We've already cleaned up the mud in the residence. My lord, we can go down without worry now, Bai Yun said respectfully. Zhou Zhou nodded and looked deeper into the cave. He did see a cleaned lord's residence more than 10 meters deep. Then, the two of them did not waste any more time and jumped down, arriving at the entrance of the lord's residence. The two of them entered. Zhou Zhou saw that it was already lit up by torches. In the center of the mansion was the territory stone tablet. "Break it," Zhou Zhou said.
Yes.
Bai Yun nodded and began to use the flame arrow to shoot at the stone tablet. Now that she was already a white silver tier advanced grade, she only used less than 6 arrows to shatter this territory stone tablet. 2 tokens appeared from the territory tablet. One of the tokens emitted a dense silver-white luster. It was a white silver tier intermediate grade territory token. On the other token was the word region, written on the front, and the words withered forest plains were engraved on the back. It was the white silver tier regional token of the withered forest plains. A text notification appeared. You have conquered a white silver tier Scarlet Lord's territory and obtained 25 battlefield points and 4 ranking tries. Your subject has conquered a white silver tier regional territory, withered forest plains, and obtained 8 ranking tries. Zhou Zhou glanced at the notification, then walked over and picked up the regional token. Treasure name, regional token, region name, withered forest plains, changeable, regional grade, white silver tier. Area, about 2,985 square kilometers. Treasure description, the region token of the withered forest plains. A lord who possesses the region token and integrates it into the territory stone tablet can become the region lord of the withered forest plains and obtain an exclusive region treasure chest. Zhou Zhou nodded in satisfaction. Then, he put away the 2 tokens. After confirming that there was nothing else to take away, they left and returned to the surface. Half an hour later, all the loot of the withered tree had been extracted. All the remains of the withered tree were extracted as loots, under the enhancement of the perfect loots. In total, 46,018 green bronze tier mist cores, 22,078 white silver tier mist cores, 9,968 yellow gold tier mist cores, and 315 white platinum tier mist cores. 699,299 kilograms of jade sun tree seeds. Green bronze tier, white silver tier, yellow gold tier, white platinum tier. 6,574 green bronze tier tree cores. 3,154 white silver tier tree cores. 1,424 yellow gold tier tree cores, 45 white platinum tier tree cores, 11,197 bottles of plant vitality potion, green bronze tier, white silver tier, yellow gold tier, white platinum tier. Other than that, after Bai Yun and the others cleaned up the battlefield, they found about 6.9 million units of basic materials, 12 white platinum tier mist cores, 46 yellow gold tier mist cores, 656 white silver tier mist cores, 3,121 green bronze tier mist cores, 34,541 black iron tier mist cores, and 214 normal building blueprints. After confirming that they did not miss any loots, Zhou Zhou led the soldiers towards Deadwood Village. When Zhou Zhou and the others returned to Deadwood Village, they suddenly realized something. All the withered trees on the withered forest plains had actually turned into powder and scattered on the ground. At the same time, Zhou Zhou no longer felt the feeling of being monitored from the depths of the ground. It seems that with the death of the withered tree demon lord, the withered trees and trees hidden deep underground under its control should be dead too. That's why I don't feel like I'm being watched anymore. Zhou Zhou nodded slightly. This was naturally the best. Otherwise, he would have to send people to clean up these withered trees and the tree seeds underground in order to avoid future trouble. A moment later, Deadwood Village. When Zhou Zhou returned with the soldiers, he realized that the villagers of Deadwood Village were collectively guarding the entrance of the village and waiting for him. He winced. Then, he thought for a moment and called over a soldier. He gave him something and asked him to do as he said. The soldier quickly received the order and left. Seeing this, Zhou Zhou continued to lead the Blazing Sun army forward. Their arrival was quickly noticed by the villagers of Deadwood Village. Excitement appeared on their faces as they took the initiative to run over. Even the old village chief, Zhu Li, walked over with the help of the young villagers beside him. "Big brother, did you destroy that withered demon tree lord?" "My lord, we just realized that all the withered tree demons have collapsed into powder. Did you do this? Is that withered demon tree lord already dead?" "My lord, you must have succeeded in conquering the lord of the withered demon tree this time, right?" The villagers had just surrounded him when they asked excitedly and enthusiastically. At the request of the village chief, Zhu Li, they had all joined Zhou Zhou and become his official subjects. The reason was naturally because Zhu Li had already deduced from the phenomenon of the withered trees turning into powder that their nightmare, the lord of the withered demon tree, had most likely been destroyed by the lord they had previously entertained. Even though Zhu Li himself was also in disbelief. However, since the Lord of the Blazing Sun had already done it, they naturally became Zhou Zhou's subjects without hesitation. However, even though these villagers had the same guess, at this moment, they still wanted to personally obtain verification from this lord. Zhou Zhou saw the villagers surrounding them, including Zhuang. The soldiers standing beside him to protect him wanted to separate the villagers, but Zhou Zhou stopped them with a smile. The loyalty of these Deadwood Village villagers had already reached more than 95 points. He would nurture them well. All of them were loyal people who could entrust heavy responsibilities. There was even a high chance of nurturing them into dead loyal subjects. Zhou Zhou was naturally willing to be close to them. After hearing their words, Zhou Zhou smiled and nodded. He looked at all the villagers and the village chief, Zhu Li, who was slowly walking over from afar and nodded slowly. "Don't worry, everyone. The lord of the withered demon tree has been destroyed by our army. From now on, this withered forest plains will never become your cage again. Everyone, you can walk out of the territory and take a look at the outside at any time. If you're still worried, you can leave with us when my army and I leave later. If you want to settle in my territory, I will also arrange your work and residence for free. Whether you stay or go is up to you." As soon as he finished speaking, these Deadwood Village villagers could not help but tear up. Cries of joyful tears sounded from the villagers. Freedom. This was such a distant word to Deadwood Village. It was also a word that haunted their dreams. It had finally become a reality. When Bai Yun, Wu Xian, and the other soldiers of the Blazing Sun army saw this scene, smiles appeared on their faces. At the same time, they subconsciously straightened their backs, feeling even more honored for their status as soldiers, and they felt more recognition for their lord. Zhou Zhou was looking at the notifications that the loyalty of his subjects had increased. These notifications were from the soldiers and these Deadwood Village villagers. He looked thoughtful. It seemed that he could do more such things in the future. Firstly, it could increase their loyalty. Secondly, it could also allow Peace and Prosperity's Diamond Tier Lord talent to become Extraordinary Tier Lord talent, Peaceful Times. Peace and Prosperity was already so strong. He no longer had to worry about traitors appearing among his subjects. Then how strong would the upgraded Peaceful Times be? Thank you, my lord, for saving all the villagers of our Deadwood village. We will definitely not be disloyal to the Lord in the future. This oath can be witnessed by the supreme will. At this moment, Zuli had also walked over. He said solemnly and was about to kneel down shakily. Seeing this, Zhou Zhou immediately jumped down from the mechanostrider and helped him up. Village chief, you don't have to do this. This is what we agreed on. You have to take care of yourself, he said. Zuli smiled and nodded. My lord, let's talk in the village, he said respectfully. Zhou Zhou acknowledged. Then, he got the soldiers to station at the entrance of the village. Then, he entered Deadwood Village with Bai Yu, Wu Xin, and the others. In the lobby, Zhou Zhou chatted with Zhu Li for a while before revealing his thoughts. Is village chief Zhu Li willing to bring the villagers to Blazing Sun City? Don't worry about anything else. I'll take care of everything, Zhou Zhou said. Such a large group of loyal subjects. He naturally wanted to nurture them with him. I'll listen to your orders, my lord, Zhu Li said without hesitation. Even though they had lived in the withered forest plains for 11 years, they naturally had no attachment to this place after being tortured here. They would be happier if they could leave immediately. Instead, they were even happier. Then do it as soon as possible. Return to Blazing Sun City today. My army brought many mechanostriders. With these means of transportation, it won't be a problem to return to Blazing Sun City before dark. Zhou Zhou said. Okay. I'll arrange it now. Zhu Li nodded. Then, he asked the young man beside him to tell the villagers to pack their luggage. After Zhu Li arranged this matter, Zhou Zhou had nothing to do, so he started chatting with the old man again. During the conversation, he also knew the exact abilities of the 136 people in Deadwood Village. Because of their experience, among the 136 subjects of Deadwood Village, there were a total of 86 farmers, 6 carpenters, 3 blacksmiths, 5 doctors, and 3 martial artists. Other than that, the rest were professional villagers. These professionals were not created by any class change tool. Instead, in order to survive here, the professionals had spent a few years creating these professions from nothing. This was also the normal way of birth of professionals on the high continent. The same goes for both lifestyle professionals and military professionals. After all, the drop rate of monsters was extremely low. Zhou Zhou could be said to be one of the few lords in the high continent who used the class change tool dropped by monsters to create professionals. It was not an exaggeration to say that it was unconventional. Zhou Zhou was naturally satisfied. There were very few farmers in his territory, and farmers were definitely one of the core basic lifestyle professionals in a territory. The farmers of Deadwood Village could increase the number of farmers in his territory. Even though his territory was a desert territory and he could not grow rice and other crops for the time being. However, the Jade Sun Tree seed he had just obtained could be handed over to these farmers to be used to plant. This was because the Jade Sun Tree was a fruit tree. Among these farmers, there was no lack of fruit and vegetable farmers who specialized in growing fruit trees and vegetables. Let them nurture it. They were just the right professions. At this moment, a small head appeared at the entrance of the hall. It was Zhuang. Grandpa, my lord. Zhuang chuckled. Come in. Zhou Zhou smiled. Come in. Zhu Li was also a little helpless. The adults were discussing important things. Why did the child come over to interfere? Zhou Zhou did not care. He liked this filial child. Zhuang stuck out his tongue and did not dare to lean over, seeing that his grandfather was a little helpless. Instead, He came to Zhou Zhou. Zhou Zhou rubbed his little head. "You're here for something, right?" he asked with a smile. "My lord, we should be able to see green trees soon, since we're all out of here, right?" Zhuang nodded and asked curiously. He had been in the withered forest plains since he was born. Therefore, until now, he did not even know what the green tree looked like. When Zhu Li heard this, his eyes were filled with shame and love. "Of course, but we don't have to wait until then. I'll show you the green tree right now." Zhou Zhou patted his young shoulder and stood up to walk to the door. He instructed the soldiers at the door. The soldier left after hearing this. Soon, he returned with a soldier. This soldier was the one he had ordered to do something when he returned to Deadwood Village. At this moment, he was holding a wooden basin. There was a pile of soil in the wooden basin. In the middle of the soil was a small tree with golden leaves more than a meter tall. It looked very beautiful. It was a green bronze tier advanced grade jade sun tree. Zhou Zhou had previously given this soldier a green bronze tier advanced grade jade sun tree seed and a bottle of green bronze tier advanced grade plant vitality potion that could reduce the growing time required of green bronze tier plants by 10%. Then, he asked the soldier to quickly nurture this jade sun tree seed. It seemed that the effect of the plant vitality potion was indeed not bad. Unfortunately, it could not be stacked to reduce growth time. Every plant could only use the plant vitality potion once during its growth. Otherwise, it could be directly nurtured into a mature jade sun tree now. Then, Zhou Zhou got the soldiers to place the jade sun tree in the hall. Zhuang and Zhu Li's eyes lit up when they saw the jade sun tree. Zhu Li was excited. Other than excitement, Zhuang was more curious. "So this is a green tree?" It was indeed much better looking than a withered tree. No wonder Grandpa and the other uncles and aunties in the village could not forget it. "This is a jade sun tree. In the future, it will bear delicious fruits. It's yours." Zhou Zhou smiled and placed the pot of the jade sun tree in front of Zhuang. Zhuang was stunned for a moment before being pleasantly surprised. Zhu Li was old and knowledgeable. He knew that this tree was clearly not an ordinary tree and hurriedly rejected it. "No, my lord. It's too valuable. It's fine." Zhou Zhou waved his hand. It was just a green bronze tier jade sun tree. In the future, the lowest yield of his monster ranch would be a jade sun tree of this level. What was so precious about it? Zhu Li clicked his tongue at his wealth, seeing that his lord really did not care about this tree, and said to Zhuang, "Hurry up and thank our lord." "Thank you, my lord." After Zhuang finished speaking, he suddenly thought of something and took out a black iron tier mist core from his pocket and handed it to Zhou Zhou. "My lord, this was agreed upon previously," he said. As soon as he finished speaking, a text notification appeared. Prompt: Mission Quest. Withered Seed, Gradeless, has been completed. 1 black iron tier mist core has been distributed. You have obtained Zhuang's friendship. Zhou Zhou did not care about the notification that the mission had been completed. He smiled when he saw Zhuang hand over the black iron tier mist core. Then, he took it and put it away. When Zhu Li saw this scene, he was stunned, not knowing what the two of them were doing. At this moment, he saw his grandson, Zhuang, carry the jade sun tree to him with great effort. "Grandpa, this jade sun tree is yours." Zhuang smiled. Zhu Li was stunned. At this moment, he immediately understood what the Lord and Zhuang were talking about. "My good grandson." Zhu Li held Zhuang in his arms, tears in his eyes and a smile on his face. He was really too happy today. Half an hour later, all the villagers of Deadwood Village had packed their luggage and had already arrived at the entrance of the village, waiting to leave with anticipation. No one was unwilling to leave other than the ignorant children. Zhou Zhou did not waste any time. He let them sit in the carriage behind the Mechanostrider and returned to Blazing Sun City with the Blazing Sun Army. In order to avoid old people like Zhu Li getting injured from the bumpy roads, Zhou Zhou specially arranged for them to be in the cockpit of the white silver tier elementary grade Mechanostrider. There were 3 other seats in the cockpit than the pilot seat. It was more than enough to accommodate a few old people. Moreover, there would not be any bumps on the road as long as they flew steadily in the air. There would also be no turbulence if the weather was good. This could also ensure the safety of these old people. 3 hours later, more than an hour before the scarlet fog descended, everyone finally returned to Blazing Sun City. After returning to Blazing Sun City, Zhou Zhou immediately called Zheng Yuanqi and Elder Jing over and asked him to arrange a good meal for these people before arranging their residence and work. He had naturally long noticed the sallow and thin faces of the Deadwood Village villagers. Letting them eat a good meal was the best way to increase their current happiness compared to thinking about their future lives. That was indeed the case. Not long after Zheng Yuanqi arranged for them to eat, a large number of loyalty notifications appeared in front of Zhou Zhou. Your subject Zhou Ling's loyalty has increased to 100. She has become your dead loyal subject. Your subject Zhang Dachuan's loyalty has increased to 100. He has become your dead loyal subject. Your subject Zhu Li's loyalty has increased to 100. He has become your dead loyal subject. Rows of loyalty increase notifications appeared in front of Zhou Zhou. Many of them had directly become dead loyal. This included the village chief, Zhu Li. Zhou Zhou sighed. Loyalty. Some subjects and lords might not be able to become dead loyal no matter how much they experienced. But sometimes, they might only need a meal to become dead loyal. He suddenly understood something. Actually, sometimes what the subjects wanted was very simple. Food and survival. That was all for them, not to have any rebellious thoughts. Of course, Zhou Zhou naturally would not only satisfy the subject's needs. Since his subject trusted him, he would not let them down. He would give the subjects who trusted him a happy life. Then, Zhou Zhou stopped thinking about it and returned to the Lord's residence. Then, he took out the white platinum tier Lord talent sphere. I wonder what white platinum tier Lord talent it is? Zhou Zhou looked at the white platinum tier Lord talent sphere and thought expectantly. Zhou Zhou looked at the white platinum tier Scarlet Lord talent sphere. A text notification appeared. Do you want to purify it? Purify, he immediately said. As soon as he finished speaking, a golden light flashed on the Scarlet Lord talent sphere. Its message had already changed when Zhou Zhou looked at it again. Treasure name, Lord talent sphere, the shelter of the goddess of life. Treasure grade, white platinum tier. Treasure effect. After absorbing it, the Lord will have the white platinum tier Lord talent, the shelter of the goddess of life. Treasure description. A Lord talent sphere purified by the supreme will. After absorbing it, you can obtain a white platinum tier Lord talent. The shelter of the goddess of life? Zhou Zhou raised his eyebrows. Goddess of life? He remembered that this god was also a main god like the war god, and on the same level as the god of death, Thanatos. He did not think too much about it and looked at the Lord talent sphere. A new text notification appeared. Do you want to absorb this Lord talent sphere, white platinum tier?
Yes.
Zhou Zhou said. The next second, this white platinum tier Lord talent sphere immediately turned into countless white light spots and surged into his glabella. Zhou Zhou closed his eyes. A moment later, he reopened his eyes again after some time. Then, he immediately opened his Lord's personal information. His Lord talent column had already been updated. Lord talent, King of Lutes, mythical tier, unique. Gnome alchemy workshop, green bronze tier. Monster ranches, white silver tier. Insight defection, green bronze tier. Peace and prosperity, diamond tier. Return to the city, black iron tier. Mysterious caravan, yellow gold tier. Master thief's robbery gloves, legendary tier. Blessing of the 10 gods, white silver tier. The shelter of the goddess of life, white platinum tier. My 10th Lord talent. Zhou Zhou nodded in satisfaction. Then, he opened the details of this talent. Lord talent, the shelter of the goddess of life, white platinum tier. The shelter of the goddess of life. Your territory will have a special building, the shelter of the goddess of life. Zhou Zhou looked at the short introduction of the Lord talent, thoughtfully wanting to know what this white platinum tier Lord talent was for. He had to take a look at this special building himself. Thinking of this, he called the Aaliyah Catgirl's sisters from next door over and asked them to convey his orders and send someone to find the shelter. The Catgirl sisters accepted the order and left. A moment later, The two of them returned, reporting to my lord. "We've found the shelter," the catgirl sisters said respectfully. "Take me there." Zhou Zhou stood up and said. They both nodded. Then, the three of them walked out of the lord's residence and walked towards the shelter of the goddess of life. However, he saw a pair of familiar figures not long after he walked over. They were the princess of the Aurora Kingdom, Li Ya, and her maid, Yu Qiao. "You're back?" Zhou Zhou was a little surprised. "I naturally have to do what I said, my lord." When I returned this time, I'd already told my father that Elder Zhao can build the diamond-tier elementary-grade Aurora Tower. Father takes this very seriously and has already sent the materials and manpower to build the Aurora Tower, including the resources we promised to build the diamond-tier elementary-grade Kingdom Tower for Blazing Sun City. It can be built anytime as long as Elder Zhao can start working. In addition, I brought a diamond-tier intermediate-grade alchemy technician with me. Senior is the vice president of our Aurora Kingdom's Alchemy Technology Association. He should be able to satisfy the Lord. Leah smiled. Zhou Zhou was naturally quite satisfied. He only wanted a yellow gold-tier advanced-grade alchemy technician to learn the Mist Energy Cannon alchemy technology blueprint he had obtained previously. He did not expect this princess to directly bring him a diamond-tier intermediate-grade alchemy technician. This was already comparable to a legendary tier talent. However, the only thing that made him complain was, why was it yet another old man? Never mind. He only thought about it and did not mind. Having an elder at home was like having a treasure. There was nothing wrong with having more old people in his territory. If that's the case, tomorrow, I'll get Elder Zhao to start building the diamond-tier elementary-grade Aurora Tower. Zhou Zhou said. Leah nodded. She was also looking forward to it. As the princess of the Aurora Kingdom, she only knew that the diamond-tier elementary-grade Aurora Tower could kill extraordinary tier enemies. However, how strong was it exactly? She had never seen it with her own eyes. Therefore, she really wanted to see how the diamond-tier elementary-grade Aurora Tower looked like. By the way, I wonder how long Her Highness will stay with me this time? Don't get me wrong. I don't mean anything else. I'm just asking. Zhou Zhou had a good impression of this princess, so he specially explained. Leah was stunned by Zhou Zhou's question. Then, she looked at Zhou Zhou's face and suddenly blushed. Zhou Zhou was stunned. What was going on? Why was she blushing? Well, Father has already handed over the matter of the diamond-tier elementary-grade Aurora Tower to me. Therefore, I should stay in your territory for a while until the first diamond-tier elementary-grade Aurora Tower that I can bring back is completed. Leah avoided his gaze. Okay. Then your highness can stay in peace. If you need anything, you can tell my subordinates. As long as it's a request that I can satisfy, I won't be stingy. Zhou Zhou did not think too much about it when he saw her strange expression. Leah nodded. I still have something to do, so I won't accompany you. If you have anything else to talk about, feel free to come to me. Okay. Goodbye, my lord. By the way, my lord. Actually, you don't have to be so polite. Just call me Leah. Leah suddenly said. Okay, Leah. Zhou Zhou was stunned for a moment before saying with a smile. Then, without saying anything else, he walked towards the shelter with the Aaliyah sisters. Leah stood where she was and quietly looked in the direction where Zhou Zhou had left. At this moment, her father's words before she left sounded in her mind. You're not young anymore. It's time to have a husband. I think that Lord of the Blazing Sun is not bad. To be able to become the strongest novice lord among the lords of the same race, his ability must be top-notch. You've seen his character. He's friendly, kind, mature, steady, and motivated. Stay in Blazing Sun City for a while longer this time. Feelings can be nurtured. Ha ha ha. Father really can say anything. Leah was confused and at a loss. Actually, Yu Qiao feels that this lord is not bad either. Even though he's only a lord of a small territory now, but Yu Qiao feels that he will definitely be worthy of Her Highness in the future. Yu Qiao's crisp and smiling voice sounded. Even though Leah was her master, they were more like sisters. Therefore, she knew what was on this princess's mind. Don't spout nonsense, Leah said angrily. Then, she sighed softly. The Aurora Kingdom is surrounded by enemies on all sides. I'm not in the mood for romance. She shook her head. Your Highness, you're too tired. Yu Qiao's eyes were filled with tears. Only Yu Qiao, who accompanied Leah every day, knew how tired this princess was. I'm not tired. Leah smiled. Yu Qiao pouted. How could Yu Qiao not know whether the princess was tired or not? If only the princes were still here. She whispered. Leah pursed her lips. Yu Qiao also knew that she had said something wrong and could not help but stick out her tongue. What they did not know was that at this moment, Zhou Zhou, who had yet to walk far, had already heard their words with the powerful six senses of the chaos humans. I see. No wonder she had that expression on. Zhou Zhou thought. Zhou Zhou shook his head in his heart. As the princess of the Aurora Kingdom, Leah was worried about the future of the Aurora Kingdom, so she did not have any thoughts of romance. As the lord of a territory with an uncertain future, he naturally did not have such thoughts either. From the looks of it, the two of them were not fated. At least for the time being. Let it be. Zhou Zhou did not take it to heart. A moment later, the two of them arrived at their destination. A sand building made of gray sand and rocks appeared in front of Zhou Zhou. Above it was a statue of the goddess of life, Aerith, 7 to 8 meters tall. This goddess had a beautiful face and was wearing old-fashioned and dignified clothes. She closed her eyes with a holy and forgiving expression on her face. Her hands were clasped together, as if she was praying for something. Below the goddess statue was a gray stone door. At this moment, the door was closed. What a simple building. Is this really a god spirit building? Zhou Zhou was a little surprised. Buildings made of basic sand materials looked too normal. It was like the most normal desert building. However, it had to be said that the architectural style of this building could still reflect the dignity and tolerance of a god spirit. Zhou Zhou looked at the building, and the building information appeared. Building name: the Shelter of the Goddess of Life. Building level: Special grade. Building function 1. Bishop of the Shelter, Carol Moali, and her priests, nuns, and other clerics can provide basic shelter services to the lord and subject of the territory once a day for free. However, you will need to spend Faith Divine Crystals to buy more protection in the future if you need it. Current protection types: Basic Protection, Life Holy Water, 1 Faith Divine Crystal, Basic Protection, Divine Spell, Life Healing Technique, 2 Faith Divine Crystals, Basic Protection, Divine Spell Appeasement, 2 Faith Divine Crystals, Basic Protection, Divine Spell, Mental Communication, 2 Faith Divine Crystals, Advanced Protection. Hire a Life Priest, 3 Faith Divine Crystals per day, Advanced Protection. Hire a Life Paladin, 5 Faith Divine Crystals per day, Advance Protection. Divine Spell, Soul Restoration, 3 Faith Divine Crystals, Advanced Protection. Limb Restoration, 10 Faith Divine Crystals, Advanced Protection. Holy Protection, 20 Faith Divine Crystals, Advanced Protection. Small Resurrection Spell, 30 Faith Divine Crystals, Advanced Protection. Big Resurrection Spell, 100 Faith Divine Crystals. Building Function 2. When the Lord and his forces go out to hunt fog monsters, they will encounter fog monsters with a small chance of dropping scarlet crystals. After handing the scarlet crystals to the Shelter of the Goddess of Life, they can be converted into Faith Divine Crystals and be exchanged for the protection they want. Construction Upgrade. This building originates from the Lord talent and cannot be upgraded. Prompt 1. The above level of the shelter service will increase as the territory level increases. Prompt 2. The above shelter service requires the consumption of Faith Divine Crystals of the same quality. Prompt 3. Building Effect 2 is the exclusive building effect of this special building. The other shelters of the Goddess of Life don't have this ability. Building Description. The Goddess of Life saw that all life forms in the world were suffering from war, so she built the Shelter of the Goddess of Life everywhere in the High Continent to reduce the death of life forms. All life forms who enter the Shelter of the Goddess of Life are protected by the Goddess of Life. Building Function 2 actually said that it can produce Faith Divine Crystals? A surprised smile appeared on Zhou Zhou's face. He naturally had not forgotten that there was also the Temple of the God of Death, Thanatos in the desolate Gobi. He had even exchanged a Holy Spirit tier Faith Divine Crystal for an Epic tier Advanced Grade Death Immunity Scroll. The God of Death also told him that if he obtained more Faith Divine Crystals in the future, he could go to him to exchange for more treasures. He did not care much when he found out about this back then. This was because he did not have a way to obtain the Faith Divine Crystal at all. As time passed, he had almost forgotten about this. Now that he saw the news of the Faith Divine Crystal, he immediately remembered. Zhou Zhou looked at building function 2 again. Then, the corners of his mouth curled up slightly. I'll encounter fog monsters with a small chance of dropping scarlet crystals? No matter how small the probability is, it has to become 100% in the face of my King of Loots. I shouldn't be lacking in the Faith Divine Crystals in the future. When I accumulate enough, I'll go to the God of Death and see if I can exchange for something good. Thinking of this, Zhou Zhou looked at the types of protection provided by building function 1. After reading them all, his eyes widened. If the basic protection was considered standard, then it must be a little unreasonable once it came to the advanced protection. For example, in these 7 advanced protections, among them, Life Priests and Life Paladins were both kingdom-level soldier types. The former could use divine spells to treat his soldiers' injuries at any time. Moreover, the healing effect would be faster and more effective than doctor's treatment. The latter had powerful combat strength and handy healing and support abilities. He could be considered an all-rounder on the battlefield. In the divine spell, Soul Restoration could heal soul injuries. This treatment method was currently unique in his territory. Divine spell, Limb Restoration was even more so. With this divine technique, disabled people would no longer need biological prosthesis when they had enough Faith Divine Crystals. However, if there were not enough Faith Divine Crystals, the biological prosthesis could naturally satisfy the needs of more disabled people. If the above advanced protection was considered ordinary, then the remaining 3 advanced protection would be the top tier amongst them. Divine Technique Name: Holy Protection. Grade: Black Iron Tier Elementary Grade, White Silver Tier Elementary Grade. Divine Spell Effect: dispels most of the negative effects of its existence. Even fog monsters modified by the Scarlet Fog can be restored to their previous state through Holy Protection. Divine Spell Name: Small Resurrection Spell. Grade: Black Iron Tier Elementary Grade, White Silver Tier Elementary Grade. Divine Spell Effect: resurrects life forms. Spellcast Prerequisite 1. The level of the target's fate and strength does not exceed the number of casters. Spellcast Prerequisite 2. The target died within 24 hours. Spellcast Prerequisite 3. The target's physical body is 70% complete and his brain and heart were not destroyed. Divine Spell Name: Big Resurrection Spell. Grade: Black Iron Tier Elementary Grade, White Silver Tier Elementary Grade. Divine Spell Effect: ignore any rules and revive dead creatures. No matter how high the other party's fate is, even a hero, high-level lord, god spirit, totem spirit, and other high-level creatures can be directly revived. Even heroes can be revived? I'm afraid that even the Elven Empire would have to pay a huge price to resurrect a hero, right? Zhou Zhou's gaze landed on the final big resurrection spell, and he could not help but click his tongue. Then, a smile appeared on his face. In the future, he could also use this method to revive the heroes under his command who had died in battle. Zhou Zhou looked at the final divine art, the Great Resurrection Spell, in satisfaction. There was no doubt. This was the most valuable protection service in the shelter of the Goddess of Life. It could revive heroes and even god spirits. Even in Empire-level factions, or even Divine Kingdom-level factions, this should be a relatively top-notch ability. However, even though it could revive any life form, the casting conditions were also relatively harsh. Firstly, it was naturally the price of the Holy Spirit Tier Faith Divine Crystal. After experiencing the God of Death incident, Zhou Zhou naturally knew the value of a Holy Spirit Tier Faith Divine Crystal. That was something that could be exchanged for an epic tier treasure. It was extremely expensive. Secondly, the resurrected could not exceed the caster's ability. This would depend on the strength of the cardinal in the shelter. Thirdly, the Great Resurrection spell, which could only be used once a day, also limited the number of resurrections. He did not know if this could be improved in the future. As for the final Great Resurrection spell, it could only be used by Cardinal Carol Moali. This restriction was not so important. As for the other two advanced protections, the effect of the holy protection was straightforward. In the future, if he wanted to save some living beings who were trapped in the negative effects, or even some fog life forms modified by the scarlet fog, he could use this holy protection divine art to remove the negative effects or even the fog modification on them. Zhou Zhou immediately thought of Elder Wu Xin. Elder Wu had been injured by a hero of the Taiyan Kingdom in his early years. In addition, he was old and his strength had directly deteriorated from the original Diamond Tier Advanced Grade to the current Yellow Gold Tier Elementary Grade. Previously, he had asked Bai Yue Jing to use the essential prescriptions worth 1,000 gold for emergencies in order to treat Wu Xin. In the end, he still could not resolve the remaining Scarlet Hero power in Elder Wu's body after trying. He could only stabilize the injuries in his body. Now that he had this holy protection, he might be able to resolve Elder Wu's injuries. Zhou Zhou also valued the second small resurrection spell. With this small resurrection spell, he could use it to revive the soldiers or subjects in his territory in the future. This was almost equivalent to a real-life version of the resurrection token. It was just that the number was far inferior to the resurrection token. These protections are good, but they all need faith divine crystals. I wonder what the probability of scarlet crystals appearing is. Zhou Zhou thought. This would have to wait until tomorrow. It was already late today, so they definitely could not go out to hunt the fog monsters. At this moment, creak. The door of the shelter opened. A beautiful woman in a red robe with white trim walked out of the door. She had long green hair, green eyes, sharp ears, and a tall figure. She had a harmonious and natural elegance. At the same time, 10 clergymen, 10 priests, 50 nuns, and 50 life paladins also walked out of the door in an orderly manner. Then, they stood behind her in 2 rows. Red Cardinal Carol Moali with all the clergy in the shelter greets, "My lord." Carol Moali bowed respectfully. "Greetings, my lord, X120. The 120 clergymen behind her also said respectfully, "Everyone, get up. With you joining my blazing sun city, we will definitely be like a tiger with wings in the future." Zhou Zhou looked at the people bowing to him and said with a smile, "My lord, you flatter us." Carol Moali smiled. Zhou Zhou also smiled and opened her attribute panel. Subject, Carol Moali. Territory, Blazing Sun City. Combat class name, Red Cardinal, Goddess of Life. Class, White Platinum Tier Advanced Grade. Ability Overview. The fanatic believer of the Goddess of Life is only one step away from the Holy Spirit. She is in charge of all the major matters in the shelter of the Goddess of Life and has extremely high prestige in the shelter. She has mastered many divine arts and is best at the big resurrection spell. Skills: White Platinum Tier Advanced Grade Divine Art, Great Resurrection Spell, White Platinum Tier Advanced Grade Divine Art, Small Resurrection Spell, White Platinum Tier Advanced Grade Divine Art, Holy Protection, White Platinum Tier Advanced Grade Divine Art, Limb Restoration, White Platinum Tier Advanced Grade Divine Art, Soul Restoration, White Platinum Tier Advanced Grade Divine Art, Mental Communication, White Platinum Tier Advanced Grade Divine Art, Appeasement, White Platinum Tier Advanced Grade Divine Art, Life Healing Technique, White Platinum Tier Advanced Grade Creation of Life Holy Water, White Platinum Tier Advanced Grade Prayer, White Platinum Tier Advanced Grade Organization Management, White Platinum Tier Advanced Grade Encouragement, White Platinum Tier Advanced Grade Preaching. Loyalty, Dead Loyal. Potential, Epic Tier Advanced Grade, My Good Lord, White Platinum Tier Advanced Grade Strength, and her skills are all White Platinum Tier Advanced Grade, which means she can revive any living being below the White Platinum Tier Advanced Grade with the Great Resurrection spell. Her potential is even Epic Tier Advanced Grade. Zhou Zhou was quite satisfied. There was only one person with Epic Tier Advanced Grade potential in his territory. That was Bai Yun. Now, there was Carol Moali. As for the fact that Nazario was a dragon with legendary tier advanced grade potential, there was nothing to compare to. He suddenly thought of a problem. If you have to make a choice between the goddess of life and I, who will you choose? Zhou Zhou suddenly asked. I was born because of the Lord, so naturally it would be the Lord. If the Lord is a god, then I will be a fanatic believer of the Lord. Carol Moeli said without hesitation. Zhou Zhou was even more satisfied when he saw this. Then, he noticed what Carol Moeli said next. What is the connection between fanatic believers and dead loyal subjects? Zhou Zhou asked. If the person whom the dead loyal subjects are loyal to become a god, they will immediately become fanatic believers. Carol Moeli said. Zhou Zhou raised his eyebrows. So that was the situation. Then what's going on with the Holy Spirit? He asked again. The Holy Spirit's loyalty has been further sublimated as a fanatic believer. At the same time, it has comprehended the power of believing in the God Spirit and obtained the blessing of the God Spirit. That's why it became the Holy Spirit. The birth of the Holy Spirit is extremely difficult. Not only do you need high levels of loyalty, high levels of comprehension, and high potential. Moreover, it requires the blessing of the God Spirit and some luck to achieve it. Therefore, every Holy Spirit is valued by the gods. There has even been a case where the God Spirits personally took revenge for the Holy Spirit after the Holy Spirit died and fought with other gods. Carol Moeli's eyes were filled with desire as she spoke. As a fanatic believer, she naturally wanted to become a Holy Spirit too. It was just that Zhou Zhou had yet to become a god. Otherwise, she would definitely work hard to become Zhou Zhou's Holy Spirit. Zhou Zhou was deep in thought. There was actually such a benefit for loyalty. No wonder the Lord could finally build a divine kingdom to become a god. It turned out that dead loyal citizens could actually become fanatic believers seamlessly. Thinking of this, Zhou Zhou felt that his foundation was not bad. This was because he seemed to have almost 100 dead loyal subjects in his territory. These were all future fanatic believers. In the future, perhaps some among them could become Holy Spirits. He continued to ponder about the future when peace and prosperity advanced to the extraordinary tier Lord talent, peaceful times, and then advanced to the mythical tier in the end. Would he obtain a mythical tier Lord talent related to the believers? Zhou Zhou thought for a long time and stopped thinking about it because it was too far away from him. He did not know how long it would take him to become the most ordinary lower-level god, since he was only at the white-silver tier intermediate grade now. Not to mention that his peace and prosperity had not even advanced to peaceful times. It was even further away from advancing to the mythical tier Lord talent. My lord, do you want to follow me into the shelter to take a look? Carol Moeli took the initiative to ask, seeing that her lord was silent. Okay. Zhou Zhou came back to his senses and nodded. At the same time, he instructed Aaliyah behind him to invite Elder Wu over. Aaliyah left. Zhou Zhou, Atli, Carol Moeli, and the clergy entered the shelter. After entering, Zhou Zhou realized that its internal arrangements were very simple. It was similar to the church he had seen in his previous life. Its internal structure was divided into the front hall, where holy water was placed, the middle hall, where people prayed, and the altar. There were also changing rooms, confessional booths, dormitories, and some public areas. It could be said that even if it was small, it still contained the essentials. The group of people chatted as they shopped. During this period, Zhou Zhou also observed the other clergymen. He realized that their strength was all white silver tier elementary grade, and their potential was all white platinum tier advanced grade. According to Carol Moeli, other than her initial strength as a cardinal of the shelter, which was white platinum tier advanced grade, the strength of the others would increase as the territory level increased, until they advanced to the white platinum tier advanced grade. This was also the limit of automatically increasing their strength. It was fine if they wanted to continue improving in the future. However, he had to increase their potential first. If their potential increased, their strength would increase. However, at that time, their strength would no longer increase with the level of their territory. Instead, they would need to obtain promotion energy to increase normally. Zhou Zhou nodded. A moment later, Aaliyah and Wu Xian came over. "Greetings, my lord," Wu Xian said respectfully. Then, he looked around in surprise. "I didn't expect our territory to have the shelter of the goddess of life. When was this built? Why didn't I notice it before? Has old Wu seen such a shelter before?" Zhou Zhou asked in surprise. "There are 4 shelters of the goddess of life in the Aurora Kingdom. However, I've only heard and seen it before, but this is the first time I've entered. Why does this place feel different from the shelter I've seen before?" Wu Xian was a little puzzled. Zhou Zhou smiled and did not explain. How could it be the same? This was created by his Lord Talent and had a special building effect. It only looked similar to other shelters. "Carol, take a look at his injuries. Can he be cured?" Zhou Zhou asked Carol Moali. Wu Xian was stunned. Carol Moali also looked at Wu Xian. "Don't resist." After saying that, she extended her hand. A faint green light flew out of her hand and fused into Wu Xian's body. In just a little more than 10 seconds, she retracted the green light. "We can use the holy protection to heal his injuries." However, his injuries were caused by an extraordinary tier Scarlet Hero. "I'm only a white platinum tier advanced grade cardinal. If he wants to be completely cured, he has to come and receive the holy protection once a day. If nothing goes wrong, he should be completely cured in about 10 days. At that time, his strength should also recover to diamond tier," Carol Moali said. The two of them heard this. A smile appeared on Zhou Zhou's face. Wu Xian became excited. "Can my injuries really be healed?" He was excited and in disbelief. This pain had tortured him for decades. Even extraordinary tier advanced grade doctors could not treat him. The girl in front of him looked like she only had white platinum tier strength. Could she really do such a thing? The power of the Scarlet Hero is indeed very powerful. But divine art represents the power of God. Could the level of a god be lower than the level of a hero? Carol Moali saw through his thoughts and said calmly. Wu Xian stopped talking. However, the joy on his face exposed his current mood. "Okay. Then I'll come to you when I gather enough faith divine crystals," Zhou Zhou said. Carol Moali nodded. The essence of the divine art was to ask the God Spirit to bestow all kinds of power. Even though divine art personnel like them could also release divine arts without the faith divine crystal, such power and effect of this divine art naturally could not compare to the effect of the divine art with the premise of the faith divine crystal. Zhou Zhou acknowledged. Then, they chatted for a while more before leaving. "Thank you, my lord." He had just walked out of the shelter. Wu Xian knelt down and said excitedly, "There's no need for that. Elder Wu is my most loyal subject. I'm also your lord. If I don't think for you, who should I think for?" Zhou Zhou smiled and helped him up. When Wu Xian heard this, he was touched and ashamed. The Lord had already done so much for him. He actually entertained thoughts of retirement occasionally. Retirement? No more. I can fight for the Lord for another 50 years. At this moment, Wu Xian seemed to have returned to his youth. Hot-blooded. Excitement. Then, the two of them chatted for a while before separating. Wu Xian went home to rest and prepare for the battle tomorrow. Zhou Zhou brought the Aaliyah sisters to the Gate of Summoning. Then, he took out the white platinum tier advanced grade alchemy pharmacist recruitment book he had obtained during the day and threw it into the Gate of Summoning. Soon, a figure walked out. He was a middle-aged human with colorful long hair. His body was thin, and he looked a little dispirited, but his eyes were very bright. "Lin Nanfeng greets my lord." Lin Nanfeng knelt on the ground and said respectfully, "Welcome to Blazing Sun City." Zhou Zhou smiled and nodded. This was a white platinum tier advanced grade alchemy pharmacist. How could he not be happy? The only thing that surprised him was that he actually recruited a human alchemy pharmacist this time. He thought that it would be a foreign race like Ashburn and Carter, the gnome alchemy pharmacists. Then, Zhou Zhou opened Lin Nanfeng's attribute panel. Subject, Lin Nanfeng. Territory, Blazing Sun City. Life profession, alchemy pharmacist. Class, white platinum tier advanced grade. Ability Overview. An alchemy pharmacist from the Aurora Kingdom who has mastered the making of many potions. He is obsessed with making potions and likes to develop new potions, but most of them end in failure. Skills: Alchemy Potion, Plant Vitality Potion, White Platinum Tier Advanced Grade, Alchemy Potion, Life Potion, White Platinum Tier Advanced Grade, Alchemy Potion, Energy Potion, White Platinum Tier Intermediate Grade, Alchemy Potion, Detox Potion, Yellow Gold Tier Elementary Grade, Alchemy Potion, Madness War Potion, Yellow Gold Tier Advanced Grade, Alchemy Potion, Shapeshifting into Water Element, White Silver Tier Intermediate Grade, Alchemy Potion, Shapeshifting into a Mammoth, Green, Bronze Tier Elementary Grade, Alchemy Potion, Shapeshifting into a Flying Eagle, Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade. Zhou Zhou's gaze landed on the last skill. Shapeshift Potion? He was a little surprised. This was the first time Zhou Zhou had seen a potion like the Shapeshift Potion. He opened the attribute information of these 3 potions. He realized that the abilities of the 3 potions were indeed the same as their names. It could allow the user to shapeshift into Eagle, Mammoth, and Water Elemental. However, there was a certain time limit. This was because after shapeshifting, one needed to use their own energy to maintain the shapeshifting time. After his energy was used up, the shapeshift would be over. This reminded Zhou Zhou of druids. Shapeshifting into all kinds of natural creatures was the specialty of the druid professionals. He did not expect that he could even achieve the same effect with the help of potions without becoming a druid, even though he did not know the exact difference between the two. But it had to be said. The abilities involved in the 2 classes of Alchemy Pharmacist and Alchemy Technician were really comprehensive. Then, Zhou Zhou asked the other party to look for Zhang Yuanqi and tell him his ability. Then, he would go to the Gnome Alchemy Workshop to work. Linger's territory was already connected to Blazing Sun City through the spatial teleportation array. Therefore, he no longer needed to personally buy medicinal herbs at the marketplace. After handing the relevant talents to Elder Zhang would naturally ask him what medicinal herbs he needed to make a potion. Then, he would bring a large number of mist cores to find Linger and let Linger use them to buy the corresponding medicinal herbs in the marketplace before nurturing them in the Divine Herb Garden. After the herb cultivation was over, he would send someone through the spatial teleportation array back to the Gnome Alchemy Workshop and the various medical centers to make completed potions or medicines. In the past, Zhou Zhou had to participate in the work himself. But now, he was completely liberated. This was also one of the benefits of Spiritual Medicine City becoming his subordinate territory. Moreover, Zhou Zhou did not have to worry about Linger being greedy for the mist core. This was not only because he trusted Linger. Another reason was, after Linger became the lord of his subordinate territory, loyalty also appeared in her stats. Zhou Zhou had naturally seen Linger's loyalty. Her loyalty of 99 points was not dead loyal, but there would basically not be a problem of betrayal. Moreover, the medicinal herbs in the marketplace were clearly priced. Under Zhang Yuanqi's lead, there was already a group of very loyal subjects in charge of reconciling the accounts in his territory. They were in charge of sorting out the income and expenditure of the territory. They would immediately discover any problem with the accounts. Therefore, it was very difficult for corruption to happen, which put him completely at ease, leaving the acquisition of medicinal herbs to Zhang Yuanqi and Linger. Now, he was only in charge of purchasing some minerals and other items in the marketplace to satisfy the work needs of the blacksmiths, carpenters, and alchemy technicians, as well as some of his own needs. These things would not take up much of his time. He just needed to make some time to buy them. Moreover, he now had more territory tokens. Zhou Zhou would also hand over the job of acquisition of minerals to them when he recruited another lord of a subordinate territory in the future and their loyalty increased. It would allow him to take another step forward on the path of becoming a hands-off boss. Thinking of this, Zhou Zhou suddenly thought of the deal he had set up to buy items from the Lord Battlefield. I almost forgot. Zhou Zhou opened the marketplace and looked at the results of this transaction. Results: 154 green bronze tier resurrection tokens, 146 green bronze tier territory rebirth tokens, 10,241 black iron tier master servant territory contracts, 205 green bronze tier master servant territory contracts, 4 white silver tier master servant territory contracts. Trading goods, 16,441,000 black iron tier mist cores consumed, 33,559,000 black iron tier mist cores remaining. He frowned slightly. He prepared 50 million black iron tier mist cores, but he had only used a little more than 16 million black iron tier mist cores. The remaining 33 million black iron tier mist cores had not been spent? How long has it been? Zhou Zhou immediately gathered market information. In the end, he confirmed that most of them were offering a lower bid than him, or the same at best. His offer was not low, which meant the lords were unwilling to sell the lord battlefield items in their hands. It seemed that the other lords also value this lord battlefield activity very much. That's why they are unwilling to sell the items they obtained in the lord battlefield. Zhou Zhou pondered. It made sense. This lord battlefield activity concerned their rankings. The strength enhancement effect of the lord title would affect the difference in strength between him and the enemy lord in the real world. In the lord battlefield, they still had room for error and could lose a few rounds. But in reality, they would be directly killed if they lost because of the lord title. A slightly smarter lord would naturally not do such a thing that only looked at immediate benefits. However, even so, Zhou Zhou still did not withdraw this deal. He would just leave it on the marketplace and buy as many battlefield items as he could. In any case, he was not in a hurry to use them. After that, he asked Aaliyah to bring over the diamond-tier intermediate-grade alchemy technician that Princess Leia had brought. Aaliyah received the order and left. A moment later, she brought a thin but hale and hearty elder in white to him. "Greetings, my lord." Zhang Keshuan bowed respectfully. "Elder Zhang, you don't have to be so polite. Since you've already joined our blazing Sun City, we're family. Welcome to our family." Zhou Zhou stood up and smiled. Zhang Keshuan smiled and nodded, heaving a sigh of relief seeing how friendly Zhou Zhou was. He had already heard of this lord before coming. A young and promising human lord of the cerulean planet. A lord favored by the supreme will. Originally, he thought that a lord who could create such an achievement and career so easily must be an extremely arrogant person. He had seen many capable and arrogant young geniuses in reality, so he did not expect this lord to be so friendly. His reputation was not in vain. In comparison, he immediately felt that the arrogant geniuses he knew in the past were incomparable to this lord. Thinking of this, Zhang Keshuan looked at Zhou Zhou even more kindly. At the same time, Zhou Zhou was also looking at the other party's attribute panel information. Subject: Zhang Keshuan. Territory: Blazing Sun City. Life profession: Alchemy Technician. Profession class: Diamond Tier Intermediate Grade. Ability overview: Vice President of the Aurora Kingdom's Alchemy Technology Association. He has a pivotal position in the Aurora Kingdom's alchemy technology field. The alchemy technology product that brought him fame was the Diamond Tier Intermediate Grade Alchemy Technology product, Divine Light Titan Armor. His dream is to break through the limitation of his potential and become the #1 extraordinary tier alchemy technician in the Aurora Kingdom. Skills: Talent: Alchemy Technology Creation, Diamond Tier Intermediate Grade Alchemy Technology, Divine Light Titan Armor, Diamond Tier Advanced Grade Large-Scale Armor Manufacturing Theory and Practice, Diamond Tier Intermediate Grade Alchemy Technology Products, Human Mechanical Coordination Alchemy Technology Chip, Diamond Tier Intermediate Grade Alchemy Technology Products, Giant Ray Cannon, Diamond Tier Advanced Grade Alchemy Technology Products, Gravity Flying Device, Diamond Tier Intermediate Grade Alchemy Technology Products, Divine Engine. Loyalty: 88. Potential: Diamond Tier Advanced Grade. Zhou Zhou looked at the other party's skill list and could not help but raise his eyebrows. Zhou Zhou was a little surprised. Most of the skills of this Diamond Intermediate Grade Alchemy Technician seemed to be for the Divine Light Titan, a Diamond Tier Intermediate Grade Alchemy Technology product. Or rather, it was the composition of skills required for this Divine Light Titan alchemy technology. Everything other than that were some low-level alchemy technology products. Zhou Zhou took a look and felt that he was not interested. His gaze returned to the Divine Light Titan, an alchemy technology product. He opened the detailed information of this alchemy technology product and read it. He immediately thought of a movie on Cerulean Planet after reading it. Pacific Rim. The Divine Light Titan armor that the other party studied was very similar to the super-large mecha soldiers created by humans to deal with underwater monsters in the Pacific Rim. However, the reason why Zhang Keshuan created the Divine Light Titan was naturally not to deal with the underwater monsters, but to deal with a foreign race kingdom in the northwest of the Aurora Kingdom. It was called the Titan Kingdom. The Titan clan lived inside. Even though the Titan clan had very few clansmen, they were very huge in size. Adult Titans were generally more than 20 meters tall. The Titan King, the strongest among them, was even more than 50 meters tall. These Titans were very primitive and lived like they were in the Stone Age, but they were born with extremely high combat strength, so they were extremely difficult to deal with. One of the important methods that the Aurora Kingdom could use to resist these Titans in the northwest was the Divine Light Titan armor created by Zhang Keshuan. Zhou Zhou clicked his tongue. My God. It turned out that the subjects in the northern part of the Aurora Kingdom were watching Besieging the Titans, Divine Light Titans, and Attack on Titans every day. Thinking of this, he really wanted to go to the scene to take a look. Elder Zhang, how long will it take if I want to build the Divine Light Titan armor you created in Blazing Sun City? Zhou Zhou asked. My lord, do you want to hear the truth? Zhang Keshuan hesitated for a moment before saying, Of course. Then I'll be straightforward. According to my observations, there's no problem making low-level alchemy technology products given the current alchemy technology industrial foundation and the talent foundation of Blazing Sun City. However, it will take at least a year or so for such a huge advanced alchemy technology like the Divine Light Titan armor to be built. Zhang Keshuan said. Zhou Zhou immediately went numb. A year or so. He had only been in the High Continent for 12 days. He might not even be interested in the Divine Light Titan armor anymore then. He immediately dismissed the idea of building this alchemy technology product in Blazing Sun City. If he really needed them, he could just buy them directly from Aurora Kingdom. He just did not know if the Aurora Kingdom was willing to sell them. However, even though he could not build the Divine Light Titan armor, the other party's words also reminded Zhou Zhou that it was now time to build the industrial foundations of alchemy technology or even Cerulean Planet's technology in his territory. This would save him from such a situation in the future. He stopped thinking about it and took out a blueprint from his spatial ring. It was the alchemy technology blueprint of the yellow gold tier advanced grade mist cannon. Elder Zhang, I'll leave this blueprint to you. Our territory urgently needs an offensive method. Elder Zhang, you can immediately start making it after learning it. Don't worry about the materials. The territory will be in charge. Zhou Zhou handed him the blueprint and said, Nazario could also be seen as a means of attack. However, it was Zhou Zhou's greatest trump card. Zhou Zhou did not want to use it easily. Therefore, he still needed a battlefield weapon like the Mist Energy Cannon, which had a long range and could not only kill giant creatures, but also attack in naval battles. When Zhang Keshuan heard Zhou Zhou's words, he took it curiously. He was a little surprised when he saw the blueprint. Mist Energy Cannon? My lord, you actually have its alchemy technology blueprint? He looked at Zhou Zhou in surprise. What happened? Isn't this Mist Energy Cannon used very widely? Zhou Zhou was stunned. That was what the blueprint introduction said. Could it be? Zhou Zhou looked at Zhang Keshuan. Zhang Keshuan smiled bitterly and shook his head. The Mist Energy Cannon was born from an alchemy master among the gnomes, and the gnomes are at least hundreds of millions of kilometers away from the Aurora Kingdom. So it's widespread and famous. However, this doesn't include this area of the Aurora Kingdom. We've all only heard of it, but no one knows how to make Mist Energy Cannons. I didn't expect my lord to have it. He sighed with emotion. Zhou Zhou blinked. Then, he did not think too much about it. In his opinion, the Aurora Tower was much fiercer than the Mist Energy Cannon. It was just very difficult to move. Moreover, its energy core, Aurora crystals, was relatively difficult to obtain. Even though the power and range of the Mist Energy Cannon were inferior to the Aurora Tower, however, its advantage was that its energy was ordinary and could be manufactured on a large scale. Moreover, it could easily move its position and could even be used at sea. They each had their own strengths and weaknesses. At this moment, another thought appeared in his mind. Should he sell some to the Aurora Kingdom after the mist energy cannons was manufactured? He thought for a moment. He quickly dismissed this thought. At the moment, he was not short of money, nor did he have any other needs for the time being. It would not be too late to sell it when there was a need. After that, Zhang Keshuan learned the blueprint of the mist energy cannon in person. After Zhou Zhou chatted with him for a while, Zhang Keshuan left. After he left, Zhou Zhou opened the exchange and set up a transaction to buy materials for the mist energy cannons. The cost of making a yellow gold tier advanced grade mist cannon was 20 yellow gold tier mist cores. He directly threw 100 sets of materials for the mist energy cannon into this transaction, which was 1,000 yellow gold tier mist cores. After that, he closed the exchange page. Then, he asked Aaliyah to call Elder Zheng over and told him about the Jade Sun Tree. After Elder Zheng found out about the Jade Sun Tree, he immediately promised to be fully responsible for this matter and strive to turn the blazing sun desert into an oasis as soon as possible. After that, the two of them chatted about this for a while. Then, Elder Zheng told Zhou Zhou two things. The first thing was that Zhang Li's teacher, Li Huiyue, had finally woken up. However, even though she had regained consciousness, she could only lie on the bed. It would probably take some time for her to recover to a state well enough to walk. The second thing was, just today, when Zhou Zhou led his troops to conquer the withered forest plain, a group of 142 refugees came to Blazing Sun City and requested to become subjects of Blazing Sun City. They said that they had heard that Blazing Sun City was a very safe territory. The subjects lived very well here, and the Lord was very wise. He was not muddle-headed and was also strong. That was why they came here to join Blazing Sun City. When Zhou Zhou first listened, he was still a little puzzled. Why would refugees suddenly join their Blazing Sun City? When he heard the last part, he immediately reacted. This was clearly the effect of the slightly increasing the probability of foreign life forms coming to join him from the effect of the peace and prosperity Lord talent. Are there any with special skills among the 142 people? Zhou Zhou asked. There are 20 to 30 basic lifestyle professionals and more than 10 military professionals. Most of them are black iron tier and green bronze tier. Apart from that, they are some ordinary subjects. Zhang Yuanqi said. Zhou Zhou acknowledged. He was not disappointed. Free subjects. What was there to be disappointed about? Zhou Zhou and Zhang Yuanqi chatted for a while about the construction and development of the territory before Zhang Yuanqi bade farewell and left. Not long after he left, a familiar voice came from outside. Reporting to my lord. Zheng Fugue requests an audience. Bring him in. Zhou Zhou looked at Atli. Atli nodded and went out. A moment later, Zheng Fugue stood respectfully in front of him. Reporting to my lord. We just went to the sandstorm Forbidden Land today. How's it going? Do secret forces really exist there, or even the kingdom of the undead? Zhou Zhou asked. Zheng Fugue nodded.
Yes. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe.